I am the project officer responsible for energy shifts as well as the predecessor project Shape Energy. And while I'm very excited about both of them, I need to take a little bit of professional distance and restraint, exercise a bit of restraint. So seriously, I cannot represent the project. So what you hear from me is the rationale why we decided to issue a call for such a project and why we want to go ahead with such a project. Basically, my task is very easy because in a nutshell, I can say that Energy Shifts will continue the work of Shape Energy. With one important difference, it will do so in a different context. It will come closer to the eceee policy-making arena in the sense that Energy Shifts will relate to the existing energy technology and innovation platforms which exist for the different technologies, wind, solar, bioenergy, what have you, with the goal of bringing SSH angles to bear on the work of these platforms. Now, that's a difference to Shape Energy. Shape Energy was basically about building the SSH community, reaching out to constituencies that may have a use for SSH work, sometimes without knowing it, overcoming the fragmentation of these communities, increasing cross-disciplinary work between SSH experts and STEM experts. Now, we want Energy Shifts to bring that closer to home, so to speak, given where I sit, and to make the link to ourselves a little closer. So, in essence, if you want to put it in a nutshell, what Energy Shifts will do for the social sciences and humanities is what the ETIPs are doing already for the more technical disciplines. The main goal, therefore, is to do a bit of what Ruth just described, to bring SSH to bear on the work of the other disciplines, to make it more of a factor in eceee energy-related policy making, to advise us. We would like to draw more on the platform for the kind of work that you described when it comes to evaluating proposals, when it comes to monitoring proposals, accompanying projects once they're in process. We have made some progress in including SSH perspectives at the conceptual level and will be right topics. So when you look at the way our work programs have evolved, then you will see that SSH is more present now. However, it is also true that there's still a big gap to cover in terms of what happens afterwards. How much of the budget is going to SSH partners? How many SSH researchers are represented on project teams, etc. So there's a lot of work still to be done, and we need the support from projects such as Energy Shifts or Shape Energy, and the organizations and people that animate those kind of networks. We need that in order to progress on that front. Now, I wanted to read you the specific objectives, but I probably don't have to do that because, of course, Energy Shifts, they say this much nicer in a much greater detail what they actually want to do. Increase the accessibility to the energy policy world of SSH work, increase the direct engagement of SSH specialists with a set plan. I assume you're familiar with the set plan, our coordinating instrument where we want to bring together eceee level energy research with that done by the member states. And there's a lot of need for SSH work in that context. Of course, facilitate cutting-edge SSH research into these contexts. You can find the proposal online, I'm sure, or you will be able to find it once the project is in the works. Now, Energy Shifts will run for the next couple of years, starting sometime next year and then ending sometime in 2020, once we know the exact dates. And then, of course, there will be a break. We'll have a new framework program. We'll have Horizon Europe instead of Horizon 2020. And we'll all have to see how SSH really comes into play there. We have high hopes. We have big plans. We want it to be, and we've been told by others, that SSH should be more prominent, it should be more present, and we want to make sure that that happens. How will it happen? We don't know yet, to be honest. It's still, the proposal is still in the works. We're negotiating with the Council and Parliament. Council and Parliament have a tendency to tell us what to do, and if we come with a rather open agenda, which SSH, more cross-disciplinary work, more engagement, more outreach, then that is sometimes a bit of a hard sell. But that doesn't mean that it will be less prominent. The way that the Horizon Europe program is set up, the structure of clusters, which are even more cross-cutting, more cross-disciplinary. We're looking at a cluster of energy, climate, and transport. We'll see if it comes to pass as such a big cluster. Maybe it will only be climate and energy. But in any event, it will be bigger than it is now. And that by definition calls for more cross-disciplinary work, and also it calls for looking at non-technical disciplines. So I think the cards are in our favor, but of course we need to see how it works out in practice. The missions that everybody is talking about, the research missions, the same thinking applies here. You can't have a mission that excites people, that is relevant to society, without having some sort of cross-disciplinary approach that also includes SSH disciplines. Yes, so that's all I wanted to say. Thank you.